Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. There's a storm brewing in Washington, and it's not about politics or policy. It's all about football. Word around the league is that Terry McLaurin, the face of the Commanders' offense and one of the most consistent wide receivers in the NFL, might be preparing for his exit once this season wraps up. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, this isn't coming from some random Twitter account or a clickbait headline. It's the kind of whisper that starts in locker rooms, travels through agents, and ends up in the conversations between insiders who know how these things usually unfold. Terry has been the heart and soul of this team since he was drafted, a captain, a leader, and honestly, the one bright spot in an organization that's seen more chaos than chemistry. But even the most loyal players have their breaking point. The way things are shaping up, this could be his farewell tour in Washington, and the signs are starting to show in subtle ways. His tone in interviews, his body language on the sidelines, and even the way he's been interacting with teammates lately. It's that quiet tension before the storm, and if you followed the NFL long enough, you know what that usually means. What's fueling all this speculation isn't just gossip, it's context. The Commanders are in the middle of yet another rebuilding phase, and Terry McLaurin has been through this same movie too many times. New coaches, new quarterbacks, new systems. He's been the constant through all of it, the reliable star in an ever-changing cast. But every season that ends without a playoff push chips away at a competitor's patience. He's in his prime, putting up solid numbers even when the team isn't giving him much to work with. You can almost sense his frustration between the lines when he talks about trusting the process or focusing on what I can control. Those are the phrases athletes use when they're trying to stay diplomatic. But inside, you can tell they're tired of waiting. And let's be honest, McLaurin deserves better. He's shown loyalty, he's shown leadership, and he's carried an offense that too often leaves him stranded. So when people say he might be ready to move on, it doesn't sound outrageous. It sounds like the next logical step for a player who's given everything. There's also the financial aspect that can't be ignored. McLaurin signed a big extension not too long ago, but that deal was structured in a way that could actually make a postseason trade or release more feasible for both sides. Washington could clear up some cap space, and Terry could land somewhere with a stable quarterback situation, a real offensive identity, and a chance to compete for a ring. Teams like the Ravens, Chiefs, or even the Bills could come calling. Franchises that know how to use an elite route runner with McLaurin's skill set. Think about it. Imagine him catching passes from Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. It's not just a fantasy scenario. It's the kind of move that could reshape a contender's offense overnight. And for McLaurin, that kind of opportunity might be too tempting to pass up. He's done his time in the grind. Now it might be time for him to chase glory. The Commanders, meanwhile, would have to face the tough reality of losing their leader, both on the field and in the locker room. If you followed Terry's journey, you know he's not the kind of guy to stir drama or drop cryptic posts on social media. He's all business, all professionalism. That's what makes this rumor even more intriguing, because if he's truly considering leaving, it's not about ego or attention. It's about wanting to win. You can sense the quiet urgency when he talks about making the most of his prime and maximizing his window. Those phrases hit differently when you realize he's been carrying a franchise that's been stuck in neutral for years. McLaurin's teammates love him, fans adore him, and coaches respect him, but football is a business, and at some point, even the most loyal soldier looks for a better battlefield. And the Commanders, as much as they'd hate to admit it, might not be in a position to convince him to stay if another team offers him a shot at the Super Bowl. It's the kind of situation where everyone loses something, but everyone understands why it happens. What's even more interesting is how the locker room dynamics could shift if this rumor gains traction. The Commanders' younger players look up to Terry not just as a star, but as a mentor. He's been the example of how to handle adversity, how to show up and perform no matter what. If word gets out that he's ready to walk away, it could send shockwaves through the team. Some guys might start thinking about their own futures, wondering if they should be patient or if it's time to look elsewhere. Others might double down, determined to send him off on a high note. Either way, it's going to change the energy in that building. You can't overstate how much a leader like McLaurin means to a team like Washington, and losing him, even just in rumor form, creates a sense of uncertainty that's hard to shake. It's like knowing your favorite teacher might be leaving school. You want to make the most of the time left, but deep down, you know things won't be the same after. The fanbase, of course, is split. Some are clinging to hope, saying this is just off-season noise, that Terry's too loyal to walk away. Others are already mentally preparing for life without him, reminiscing about the clutch catches, the impossible sideline grabs, the way he carried the team when nothing else was working. Social media is buzzing with speculation, theories, and even photos of McLaurin with players from other teams, fueling the fire even more. For Washington fans, this would be a gut punch, no question. But at the same time, most of them get it. They know what kind of competitor he is. They know he deserves a shot to shine on a bigger stage. And maybe, just maybe, that's the bittersweet part of this story. Sometimes loving a player means accepting when it's time for them to go. Now, let's talk about what could happen next if the rumors are true and Terry McLaurin really decides to leave the Commanders after this season. The NFL is a league that never sleeps when it comes to big moves, and a player of McLaurin's caliber hitting the market would send shockwaves through every front office. Imagine the frenzy. General managers clearing cap space, agents making calls, and fan bases dreaming about how he could transform their offense overnight. McLaurin is not just a wide receiver. He's a complete package, a route technician, a leader, and a culture changer. He elevates quarterbacks, he energizes locker rooms, and he commands respect from defenders. That kind of presence doesn't come around often. So if Washington really lets him walk, there will be no shortage of suitors lining up with offers that promise both money and a legitimate shot at a championship. For McLaurin, it wouldn't just be about the paycheck. It would be about the fit, the quarterback, and the culture. He's earned the right to be selective, and that's what makes this situation so fascinating. What would it mean for Washington, though? Losing McLaurin would be more than losing a top receiver. It would be losing their emotional anchor. He's been the steady hand through coaching changes, quarterback chaos, and front office shakeups. He's the guy who kept things together when everything else seemed to be falling apart. Without him, the Commanders would have to find not just a replacement on the field, but a new identity altogether. That's not an easy thing to do. You can draft speed, you can sign talent, but leadership, real leadership, is something you can't just replace. If he leaves, it might finally push Washington into a full rebuild mode, one where they stop pretending they're close and start acknowledging they need to start over. The new ownership might see it as an opportunity to reshape the team from the ground up, but fans will definitely feel the loss in a deep, emotional way. McLaurin has been the face of the franchise, and losing him would feel like the end of an era. From McLaurin's perspective, the timing makes sense. He's approaching the stage of his career where every season counts, and every decision can define his legacy. Staying in Washington could mean more years of mediocrity, while moving on could open the door to a ring chase, something every elite player dreams about. Imagine him joining a team that's one playmaker away from greatness, a place like Kansas City, where Mahomes can turn anyone into a highlight machine, or in Buffalo, where he could form a deadly duo with Stephon Diggs. Even a team like Detroit, with Jared Goff and an ascending roster, could make sense. The idea of Terry playing meaningful football in January, catching passes in primetime playoff games, is enough to get any fan excited, no matter which jersey he's wearing. And deep down, even Washington fans who love him might find themselves rooting for his success elsewhere. Because that's what you do when a player gives you everything he's got. You wish him well when he moves on. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Still, this could get messy before it gets clear. If McLaurin hasn't made up his mind yet, the Commanders' front office will probably do everything they can to keep him. New offers, promises of change, maybe even hints of a new quarterback next season. They know what he means to their brand, and losing him would send the wrong message during a time when the team is trying to rebuild its reputation under new ownership. But McLaurin isn't easily swayed by empty promises. He's smart, calculated, and deeply aware of what he brings to the table. He's not just going to stick around because someone says, trust the plan again. He's been there, done that. If he stays, it'll be because he genuinely believes Washington can win soon. If not, no amount of persuasion will hold him back. That's what makes this story so gripping. It's not just about football. It's about legacy, timing, and belief. Fans are already speculating about how his potential exit could mirror other iconic departures. Some compare it to when Calvin Johnson left Detroit, tired of carrying the load for a team that never figured it out. Others think of DeAndre Hopkins or even Devontae Adams, who left situations where they were beloved but wanted more control over their destiny. McLaurin's situation feels different, though. It's less about frustration and more about evolution. He's grown into a superstar in a market that hasn't been able to match his trajectory. It's like watching an artist outgrow the small stage that first made them famous. The respect is still there, the love still strong, but the hunger to perform under brighter lights becomes impossible to ignore. If this is indeed his last season in Washington, every catch, every touchdown, every moment will carry extra weight. Fans will cheer a little louder, knowing it might be the last time they see number 17 in burgundy and gold. And so, as the season winds down, this rumor will only grow louder. Every game, every sideline shot, every post-game interview will be analyzed for clues. Is he smiling less? Is he avoiding certain questions? Is he saying goodbye without saying it? That's how it goes in the NFL, where emotions and business collide every Sunday. No matter what happens, Terry McLaurin's legacy in Washington is secure. He'll always be remembered as the guy who gave his all, no matter the circumstances. But maybe, just maybe, the next chapter of his story will be written somewhere else. On a team where the lights are brighter, the games matter more, and the dream of holding that Lombardi trophy feels a little closer. Whatever comes next, one thing's for sure. If Terry McLaurin is really leaving the Commanders, the NFL is about to get one of its most intriguing off-season sagas yet. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.